The Ravens and Lamar Jackson bounced back against the Colts yesterday behind Lamar's 228 total yards and a rushing touchdown. Baltimore trailed at half before outscoring Indy 17-0 in the second half to win 24-10 on the road. So, Shannon, why were Lamar and the Ravens able to rally and win this game?
Because Lamar played better in the second half, much better, Skip, than he played in the first half. But there's still cause for pause. There's still an alarm that I have for concern because I'm not still seeing the progression that I need to see with his ability to throw the football. Now, I don't care what anybody tells you. If they believe Lamar Jackson is going to run them to a Super Bowl, they're sadly mistaken. And I have not seen the progression, Skip, of him throwing the football like he needs to. Now, Indy was dominating this ball game. Looks like they were about to go in and score. At worst case, Skip, get a field goal, who knows, maybe even a touchdown, and make it 10-0 or 14-0. And then all of a sudden, the running back fumbles the football, Baltimore scoops it up, and off to the races they go. Now, I don't know what happened to Phillip Rivers on that play, Skip. Skip, I mean, can you tell me what happened to Phillip Rivers? I know.
All you have to do is grab his foot before he steps on your face.
Well, Skip, how about this? Why did you even fall in the first place? All you have to do is just keep going, force him to the sideline. What are you doing? Look at Skip. What is this? How you trip and it's 7-7.
I mean, do you really blame him? An aging quarterback that they have. It's wrong place, wrong time. They got no shot, and they're going to get hurt if they try to take a shot.
Skip, you know, in the old days, you sought the quarterback out. Your interception or fumble, everybody was making a beeline to try to get the quarterback. Now you really can't do that. You can't do that to the quarterback. Just stay on your feet. But I thought that was really the turning play of the ball game, Skip. It was looking like they were about to go up 10-0 or 14-0, and then all of a sudden you have a 7-7 ball game, and then Lamar turned it around in the second half. Skip, what we're not seeing from Lamar is that what we saw last year is those chunk plays. Hollywood Brown for 50, Hollywood Brown for 70, the long touchdown passes. We're not seeing that. They're running the football, Skip, and they didn't run it particularly well yesterday, Skip. They had 38 carries for 110 yards. That's less than 3 yards a carry. They're not going to beat very many people. That offense is designed to be explosive with Lamar legs, and when he catch people cheating up, trying to, crowd the box, he throw the ball over the top of their head. They haven't been that. In order for the Ravens to be successful, Lamar's going to have to throw the football. Baltimore defense is for real, Skip, now. They're going to get after you. They didn't sack the quarterback. And one play I thought also turned the game. Skip, that was not an interception Marcus Peters had. That's not a pick, Skip. They're talking about, well, he had it and he took Skip. He never had possession of the ball. That's something they would never give a receiver that, because at that very moment, Skip, Marcus Peters is a receiver. They would never give a receiver a catch on a play like that. So I didn't think, and I still don't think after seeing it, it was an interception. But there were a couple of plays that Indy should have had that were in possession, in control of this ball game, and they allowed Baltimore to hang around, and they found a way to win. But I still have some concerns from what I'm not seeing from Baltimore. They won. Give credit. You never downplay or poo-poo a win. But there are things that I'm seeing, Skip, that still leaves me some cause for concern.
By the way, on the Marcus Peters interception, in real time, there was no way that he should have had the ball. In fact, I couldn't even figure out why they were stopping to look at it. But the more I watched it, by the letter of that law, he did control the ball and make 2 football moves, except they were in reverse. He took 2 steps going down to the ground, but I thought he did have control of it. And they said from New York, that's it. Now, Phillip Rivers went off on that after the game.
Let me ask you a question.
And said somebody who's never caught a football in an NFL game is making that call in New York.
If a receiver does that, do you believe they give him a catch?
Well, going forward, that's...
No, going backwards. Because, you could go backwards if you're a receiver if the ball's over your head.
Sure.
Do you
I don't
believe...
know. I would have.
I don't believe they'd give a receiver that catch. I don't.
Well, Dez Bryant should have had that catch.
Man, stop it! Dez didn't catch the ball.
He did catch it.
He did not.
Not only did he catch it, but he ran 2 strides with it, had it completely in his left hand because he's left-handed, and slammed it on the goal line.
Okay. So by the
That's a touchdown. The ref goes.
So let that sink in for a second. You said Dez caught it after taking 3 steps and slamming it. This guy's going back, and he's bobbling the ball even as he goes down, and they gave him a catch.
I did not think he was bobbling. I thought he had full control. honestly. Now, again, I will be the first to admit I was rooting for the Ravens because I picked the Ravens to win it all this year, and they have been struggling of late.
They have.
They did everything but beat Pittsburgh last week in Baltimore, and my quarterback turned it over 4 times, and you cannot do that because you beat them every way but loose on the stats.
Yes.
You know, it was like almost 500 yards.
Yeah, you had 260-plus yards rushing, and you lose the game.
So what did I see yesterday from Lamar Jackson? I saw Greg Roman basically turn him loose in the second half. I saw up tempo. I saw fast break. I saw an offensive coordinator who said, I'm a little desperate here because you realize Lamar in his career was 0-6 when trailing at halftime because he's including the playoffs, because both of those were, But he's not a come from behind because he's not the greatest thrower of the football. I got it. But for once, against a really good and underrated team in its building in Indianapolis, Greg Roman said, okay, Lamar, go. And what you have to do is relinquish a lot of the play calling because it's going to be up to Lamar to call. Much of it, he's just doing it on the fly.
Right.
You're letting him play off flow. What is his heart telling him? What's his psyche telling him? This will work, that'll work, this will work. What did Lamar do in the second half? He goes 10 for 10 throwing the football. I'm not saying it was all time. I'm not saying it was Patrick Mahomes' second half. But it was good enough because it was for 119. Again, if you could throw for 119 in each half, that's good enough for this team to win games, right?
Would they do that, they would be undefeated.
But he also ran for 43 yards in the second half on 9 carries and scored a big touchdown.
Right.
And the Baltimore defense seems to feed off his momentum. Right. And all of a sudden, without Marlon Humphrey, who's one of
the better corners in the league,
he wasn't out there. And remember, Lamar doesn't have Ronnie Stanley, who got his money. He's a stud Pro Bowl left tackle. And Tyre Phillips, the right guard, was out yesterday. So they're down. They're not quite as dominating in the offensive front as they were a year ago.
Well, because now they don't lose much, Skip. Now, Stanley is great, but when they moved Orlando Brown Jr., now remember, he was a left tackle in college.
He was.
And he's a big man. His dad was a big man, and he's every bit the size of his dad with 6'8", 330, 340.
I completely concur. But the point is that Lamar took the game over in the second half. And it was a beautiful thing to watch because that gave him, with that victory, that gave him a 25-5 record as a starting quarterback. And that's the best start to a career since Marino in going back to 1966.
Right.
It's better. It's a one game better than Marino, actually, and you have to go back to 66 to find a better start. Well, that's pretty great.
Yeah.
You know what? And he looked like an MVP in the second half. I'm not saying he's in the MVP race this year, but he looked like that guy last year. And that was a turning point win for John Harbaugh and this team because they're still really good, but that was a big road win. And by the way, that was their 10th straight road win for the Baltimore Ravens. That'll work.
Skip, it was a big win because what was starting to happen, people were saying, yeah, you beating up on these small teams. You played Kansas City, you got beat. You played Pittsburgh, you got beat.
I've been saying
you played a team in the AFC.
Especially at home.
Right, and you played Indy. Indy was one of the better teams. You get beat, so it was going to start, okay, how good are we? Because we're beating up teams we should, but the teams that could go either way, we're losing to those teams. So I thought this was a game that they really needed for confidence.
Agreed.
All right. We're going to go back to Brady, actually. Was it Brady in the offense or the Bucs defense that fell short?
That is he. It is he.
You never know. Michael Vick will join us, and I'd like to think that he has plenty to say next.
No mercy, no mercy.